After 4 years of fighting in World War I, millions had lost their lives and the world was forever changed. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be taking a look at the aftermath of the First World War. Undeniably, the greatest consequence of the First World War was the massive loss of life. France had lost nearly 1.4 million soldiers and an additional 300,000 civilians in the war. More than 1.8 million Russian soldiers were killed, as well as 1.5 million civilians. In total, World War I was responsible for the deaths of over 16 million people. However, numbers relating to the death toll are still debated. Considered separate but still related to World War I was the effect the flu pandemic of 1918 had on the world. First seen in North America, it is suspected the flu was brought to Europe by the American forces. This flu was ultimately responsible for the deaths of nearly 50 million people worldwide. Many countries on both sides felt the severe economic consequences of waging a world war. The United Kingdom went from one of the world's largest overseas investors to one of its biggest debtors. Less concrete changes for Britain were also apparent. There was a surge in national pride among some of the Commonwealth nations. Countries like Canada, Australia, and New Zealand held important roles in numerous battles throughout the war. Subsequently, they received more diplomatic autonomy in the decade that followed. Returning home from the battlefields, soldiers across the world were greeted with a shifting social landscape. Women had filled the gap in jobs left by the men serving in the war. Motivated to help their country, many women worked distributing coal or making ammunition, and also provided a large amount of voluntary work. These new roles helped to change the social status and working lives of women even after World War I had ended. Political lines were redrawn in the aftermath of the war. Once powerful German, Russian, Ottoman, and Austro-Hungarian empires were dissolved, with the latter two ceasing to exist altogether. Large parts of the former empires were now split up into new countries like Finland, Turkey, and Czechoslovakia. Most importantly for the future of Europe and the world was what was happening in Germany. A parliamentary system called the Weimar Republic replaced the imperial form of government in 1919. However, the new government was riddled with issues. They were forced to deal with hyperinflation, hostility from other countries, and political extremists within their own country. Many in Germany were still resentful over the Treaty of Versailles, which had forced the country to accept sole responsibility in causing the First World War. Adolf Hitler and his Nazi Party used these strong emotions to their advantage, and Hitler climbed to the position of Chancellor of Germany in 1933. Very quickly, Hitler established a totalitarian regime called the Third Reich and put an end to the Weimar Republic after only 14 years. Only 20 years after the end of World War I, Nazi Germany invaded Poland and the century's Second World War was underway.